start off on a Ghana note, and this is a big one as far as Premier League football is concerned. Mohamed Kudus has completed his move to West Ham United. We thought it would be Brighton, we thought it would be Chelsea, Arsenal at a point. West Ham have come through with the big money. 45 million plus add-ons. That's a lot of money for a club like West Ham to be spending on a player. His numbers will be on your screen, so you can check out what Kudus was doing while he was at Ajax. 87 matches played, 27 goals, 12 assists, and he was injured in a good chunk of it. So these are really, really great numbers. He scored a hat-trick in his final game in the European, I believe it was the Champions League qualifier. Yes, in the Champions against Ludo Gretz before he left. Coach, let me start with you. You have made it clear that Kudus working under David Moyes is something that does not excite you. Is there any part of this move that actually excites you where you could say that something positive could come out of a move to West Ham, even though Moyes is the one leading or about to lead Kudus?
You see, I can only hope. I can only hope that David Moyes will, for once, adjust his perception or how he looks at players who are technically gifted. If you look at his days at Everton, his days at Manchester United, this is a coach who was handed a championship team. When Alex Ferguson exited Man United, Alex Ferguson more or less gave him a team that had just won the league. And Alex Ferguson and David Gill at the time had already wrapped up the move for Toni Kroos and Thiago Alcantara. David Moyes took over the job and said no. He doesn't like Alcantara. He doesn't fancy Toni Kroos. And then he rather used the money to buy Myron Fellaini. We
Brought
all know
in Tom Cleverley.
And then believing that Tom Cleverley at the time could do the
was
thing
on the
that
level of Thiago.
Thiago. Shocking. Even in his current West Ham team, those very technical players have always been found wanting. Now, if you look at Paquetá, the Brazilian who plays in that number 10 role, he's not been allowed to express himself very freely.
True.
He's been given strict instructions, and about 80% of his game is to restrict him and get him to play for the team in a defensive network. It is when West Ham go route one to Antonio, and the ball is somehow gets to Antonio, he holds it up, blocks off, and then he gets Paquetá involved. I look at that way of playing, and I look at the player we have in Mohamed Kudus. Look, I regret not having Kudus in my coach team. In fact, today I'm going to tell you a story. He would have played for my team. I'm not going to put my team out there because of personal reasons. But just at the time that I was doing the recruitment that year, he'd gone past the first stage, the second stage, but just before the final stage, I had to travel to go and do my master's. So I left my people in charge. And some few years back, when I came back, I said, but this boy, he came, look, his technical ability, his footballing talent has never been in doubt. Take it or leave it. He's the most precious thing we have currently. You want to mention Thomas Partey. Maybe age-wise.
Partey has hit his peak.
Exactly. Kudus is the future of the Black Stars. So I want to see him go somewhere where he will flourish, because as a country we can only benefit when Kudus is playing regular, when he's doing his thing, he's building his confidence, getting involved in big games, running the show. Then as a country, the Black Stars of Ghana can only benefit. Like I said, I will hope he succeeds. But look, I'm not going to hide my feelings. I'm not happy he's going to play for David Moyes. And I maintain that David Moyes is not the one doing this signing. It is the newly appointed sporting director who has pushed through this move. And it's like he's in charge
of recruitment.
So whether David Moyes likes it or not, we are bringing him Mohamed Kudus. I can only hope that those in and around the young man will tell him that go steady the coach. Although the sporting director has brought you on board, Moyes could make or
Make you.
unmake you.
Yep.
If Moyes puts you in there and you don't play according to instruction and he puts you on the bench, whoever comes in there, once the team starts winning,
Don't forget about
nobody's going to remember that there's Kudus on the bench, because at the end of the day, it's about West Ham.
Yeah.
That if he benches Kudus and West Ham does not put some proper winning run on board, the Moyes gets the sack. But I'm not hoping for any of that. I'm just hoping that Kudus himself as a player will have to adjust his ability to play for the team. You see, you have to play for the team. And within your ability of playing for the team, that is where now, when the opportunity presents itself, you show how good you are as a player. Paqueta is doing it. He's West Ham most important player because he brings the likes of Joe Bowen, Antonio
into the game,
and Berama. Is it Berama?
Yeah.
All of them, they all begin to play very well when Paqueta is playing extremely very, very well. Kudus is going to be in the direct competition with Paqueta.
Yeah. Similar game styles, both lefties.
Both left foot, they are both expected to do the same thing. I'm not sure he's going to bench Joe Bowen. There's only one Mikel Antonio in that team. Nobody plays ahead of him. Kudus is naturally not a blistering winger.
Yeah.
He needs to be in the middle of the park where he can influence the game with his technical ability. And that is where Paqueta finds himself. I am thinking that West Ham are being smart here because of the betting scandal surrounding Paqueta. So if Paqueta gets the ban, which is looking increasingly likely that he'll get the ban, if he gets the ban, Kudus slots in, my prayer is that he should take the bull by the horn,
make the place his
grab
own.
the position, make the place his own, and maybe if Man City think they can come and pay 90, 80 million for Paqueta next transfer window, he goes and Kudus cements the position. I really do want him to succeed. I pray he succeed because it is only when he succeeds that is where the Black Stars and Ghanaians seek to benefit.
I'll come to Edwin in a bit. Let's get to the interview from Mohamed Kudus himself, speaking about making the jump from the Dutch Eredivisie to the English Premier League and what it means to play for West Ham Football Club. Check it out. Mohamed Kudus, the showboat sometimes. He says that he's here to entertain the fans.
Just before Edwin comes, entertain the fan, yes.
Yeah.
But under David Moyes,
I wonder how much entertainment will be happening.
How much entertainment he's going to give to the fans. But look, like I said, he's a smart boy. He's a clever boy. Very intelligent young man. He will admit to the fact that it's a completely different environment. The Ajax's way of doing things completely different from that of West Ham. I can only hope that once he gets in there, I think he's been given my famous number. I've always loved George Weah as a player, and George Weah's famous number is that of number 14. So it's a sign that he's going to succeed.
Mohamed Kudus. Edwin, I mean, what do you like about this move? What don't you like about this move?
Look, I get coaches' reservations about him playing under David Moyes. He's not the most dynamic manager. He's not a manager that you would say, oh, I want my young players to play under. But I feel that going to Brighton, a club that a lot of people expect much of, will just put him under a huge spotlight that I don't think he can afford right now. It takes a while to get acclimatized to the Premier League. And we know Kudus' talent, but even the most talented players have struggled to play their best in the Premier League once they step in. And I feel that putting him in a club where a lot of people don't expect much of. They don't expect top 4 challenge. They don't expect maybe Brighton are a team that people are expecting to hit the heights. West Ham, not that much. So if he's at a club with a lower profile, where he can just become a star, become the main man of the club eventually, I feel this is a good enough move for him. And you listen to that interview, this is a player who is very confident. He knows his ability. He knows what he can do. And entertaining the club is not the worst thing you can say. He knows what kind of football, kind of football he plays. It's just that entertaining must come with the results. And once you start putting in the performances, getting the results, the fans are happy, the manager is happy. It turns out to be a very good move, and everyone is happy.
Let me tell you a story about Kudus before we go into the highlights. So a lot of people know that he came through the Right to Dream Academy system, right? He's not one of those who came from the childhood stage. He went there when he was almost ready to just about break out into like a mainstream player.
He's gone through the proper
code system. And then he went. So what happened is that Right to Dream played a justifier against Kudus' Colts team.
Yeah.
So they didn't have any plans of bringing him to the academy.
Yeah.
They wanted to see the Colts team, but more like they wanted to prepare their own players for a tournament they were going to play abroad. And then they stepped onto the pitch, and this guy from the Colts team that nobody was talking about, he just lit up the whole game. Like, he was scoring, he was assisting, he was shooting from distance. The Right to Dream people tell me that the coaches were just speechless. Everybody was just looking at each other.
Yeah.
After the game, they said, we need to bring this guy to this academy. Like, there's no way this guy goes away from this academy without being one of us. Like, that's literally how it happened. He took them completely to
And
the
I just told you the story,
Yep.
isn't it? He grew up around Newtown, thereabout.
Yeah.
So he came to my team for a justifier. And look, at the very first time I saw him, I selected him. We went for the second round of selection.
Yeah.
I picked him. Then I left on the Sunday. And that justifier would have been completed on the Wednesday. But I had to leave. And then when I got to wherever I had to go, when I called my people, I hope you kept that young. Because at the time, I think he was around.
15-ish, 15, 14?
No, he was not even 14 years. He was around
13, 12.
Let's say between 10 and 12.
10, 12.
That was how old he was at the time.
Wow.
And for me, I followed him. I've known him since.
Yeah.
And when he sees me, he said, Coach, if you were to be around right now, I would have been.
Things have completely changed.
I love him.
Mohamed Kudus,
I love him as a player.
Mohamed Kudus already looks like he has stardom written all over him.